Over a year ago, I showed off my first Fortnite creative map, called Exocia. It was a battle royale map, and ever since people have wanted me to remake it. Dreamscape recently recreated his first battle royale for a video, so I asked him if I could do the same for my battle royale. However, I attempted to remake it in just one day. If you do go on to enjoy, feel free to subscribe. And use code NOVAJ in the item shop. If you don't use my code, make sure to use somebody else's. Let's start off by taking a look at my first battle royale map. This is Exocia. It was built on a Kevin floating island, and was pretty good for my first map. Let's quickly look through the points of interest. Starting with Coral Coast. There's not much to say, it's literally a coral coast. You will see this a lot with these Exocia POIs. Over here is Crimson Cliffs. Again, this POI consists of nothing besides some terrain, red nature, and a few bones. Down here is Violent Village. It's a small Pueblo village which I remember being really proud of back when I made this map. It feels cozy. This is the Henge. This was supposed to be a mysterious build, with these strange spikes around it. And the final POI is Totem Temple. This place easily had the most to the actual POI, with these connected temples. This map isn't great. The terrain elevation looked like this. Bridges were made from rock slabs. So there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to remaking it. So let's get building. I loaded up a Kevin island, placed down the POI names, and got to building. We're not going to cover the building process for too long, but one thing to remember is that I decided to challenge myself by only having one day to build it. So this won't be my best work. I just hope to make some improvements, and develop further with some of the original ideas. The terrain building took a lot longer than I thought it would, but I tried to make sure that the terrain was improved from the original. You thought I'd actually make you watch me build? Let's go look at the finished remake. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new Exocia. So here it is. I'll give you a tour of the island, show you what's new, and show you what I ran out of time to finish. But first, here is the mini-map. It looks a lot cooler in my opinion, with more detail than before. Let's start off with this new middle area. Exocia was all about mystery, and so I decided to add some strange blue nature around a lake where the rivers meet, to add a small extra sense of mystery to the island, and I think it fits in with the island's vibe very well. I also thought having a lake for the rivers to connect would be nice, and allows for new rivers. A small change is that bridges are now made with terrain. You will also see fences and pathways around the island, which weren't on the original map. And the terrain is now sloped in areas, and has some modular rock mixed into it in other areas too, to make our terrain feel a lot more detailed and interesting. Now let's head over to the first point of interest remake, Coral Coast. I wanted to add a more tropical vibe to this POI, and so I added a cool tiki hut village. I couldn't decorate the POIs at all due to the one-day time limit, but we have a basic layout of what this upgraded Coral Coast could be like. A river also splits down from the top, dividing the POI, so you must cross over using the terrain bridge, and I'm happy with these changes. I also tried to replicate this area, but made it more into a cape. Now let's move on to Crimson Cliffs. Rather than just being a mountain, Crimson Cliffs now takes place of a cliff edge. I used modular rocks to make this cliff look really nice and rocky, and made some smaller mountains to surround the POI to feel closer to the original map. The red nature and mysterious bones still scatter the area, however we now have some buildings which seem to be made by scraps. I also forgot to say that the terrain now contains slopes. This is something that wasn't present in Exocia at all. The buildings are very basic, but for the same reason that a day is not a lot of time to make a battle royale map in. And that wraps up the new Crimson Cliffs. Now let's explore the brand new Totem Temple. The main temple now has a cooler design, with this side going deeper into the temple, and the opposite side going higher up the temple. There wasn't much to improve on, so I tried to go for a more of a coral totem vibe, by adding these little coral huts around the temple, and adding coral growth all over the temple. There are smaller shrines around the main temple, but again, I ran out of time to do much new with this place. I did however change the trees around the POI from normal oak trees to these swampy trees. So that wraps up Totem Temple. Let's move on to the henge. Now this is the point where I was running out of time. I tried to recreate the original henge design, but add some more detail to the henge itself. But one change I made was to transform these small blue spikes into some even crazier spikes. I don't know what they are supposed to be, but that's the mystery of the henge. We also have these large stone pieces around the henge. And we now have some strange skulls piling up around the henge. This POI is still on its own island like before, however this island has a rocky shore, and is surrounded by small rocky islands. And now let's move on to the most disappointing part of the map. Violent Village. This is where the day had finished, meaning I had to stop building. I tried to throw together a compact Pueblo village together in the final 5 minutes, but clearly ran out of time. It was a shame as we were so close to getting this whole map somewhat finished, but it is what it is. We can leave this POI up to our imaginations. To change up this area however, I did start to make it more into a pine tree biome. And that wraps up this challenge. I attempted to remake my first Battle Royale map in just one day. I recommend others to give this challenge a try, and I hope you did enjoy. What other challenges should I attempt? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.